There's one thing all residents are wanting to know for Christmas, and that's what the weather will bring. So local forecaster Dave Stewart joins us to shed light on what's in store. We saved him till last because he is arguably the most important person to talk to. Dave, what's the forecast for tomorrow?
It's looking good. It looks like it should be fine, maybe a little cloudy for a time, but the winds look like they might change to the southwest around midday or just after, but I don't think there'll be any rain with it. I guess if you're down on the south coast in Invercargill or something, you might get a shower or two, but otherwise it looks pretty good, and it looks good through Saturday, Sunday and even Monday.
Oh wow.
But on those days, if the nor'easter kicks in, we might get 18, 20 degrees in Dunedin, but if you go inland, it'll be sort of more like the 25 to 30 inland. So on those days that might happen. But by Monday, yes, I think we'd probably extend it as far as we can get, and then it looks like there's some fronts starting to come in, and another one of these southwesterly airstreams, which looks like it might persist right through to New Year's Eve.
Okay, let's stop you there because we don't need to hear any of that negative stuff just now. We supposedly hit a December high on Monday. Was it really a record temperature?
It was for December. It's the highest December reading at Musselburgh recorded since the record started in 1947. But we have had a higher temperature than that, and from memory it was in 1981 and we had something like 35.7 degrees. So the last Monday temperature was significantly less than the highest we've ever recorded, and of course, as I say, that was back in 1981 before everyone got carried away about global warming.
Now, are we in an El Nino phase at the moment? We've had quite a bit of rain still, so are we really in that hot, dry phase that we were expecting to be in?
Well, every El Nino and every La Nina seem to bring a slightly different signal. And right now we are definitely in the El Nino. We've had lots of southwesterlies, northwesterlies, heavy rain in the west, but the southwesterlies have been good enough to actually fire some rain right up through the east coast. Probably not a lot further north of, say, Oamaru or whatever, but certainly we've been getting enough rain to keep the grass growing because they have to keep cutting the lawns, which is good. The farmers will be happy with that, but I think you find inland it's not so good. Once you get to Middlemarch and further inland, it's significantly drier up there. My feeling is that later in January the real hot stuff will probably arrive, and we could have a couple of months of fairly warm weather with not a lot of rain. So that's what I'm picking. But as I say, every El Nino signal is a little bit different.
Is it likely to end in drought though?
Yes.
It will?
Yes.
Absolutely. It's a fairly definitive answer to that. Any unusual weather patterns on the horizon?
No, I think the unusual part will be that if the El Nino really kicks in, we'll still have nor'westerlies and heavy rain in the west, and then we get those hot nor'westers like we had on Monday, and so we'll get pretty hot. The southwesterly behind, if they are not as far south as what they have been, then we won't get any rain. You won't get much rain further north than about the airport, Dunedin Airport. Southland could be quite cool and wet, but once you get further north than the airport, it's normally pretty dry in one of these situations.
How are we comparing to the rest of the country?
Well, we're a little more up and down than the rest of the country because some of the weather systems, they hit us a bit harder, and by the time they get, say, to the North Island, they've lost a bit of their oomph. So we get hit a little bit harder with them, but I think we compare pretty well. I think we had the highest temperature, almost the highest temperature in the land on Monday. Dunedin is, we just have to face it, on average Dunedin is 7 degrees cooler than Auckland, and that's just a fact.
Only 7? Well, that's not so bad, is it?
No.
The Aucklanders can stay where they are, perhaps.
Yeah,
we'll take it.
They just need to bring their snowshoes with them when they come down here.
Dave Stewart from Rain Effects, thank you very much for the good news about Christmas weather, and have a very Merry Christmas indeed.
You too, and to all the viewers as well.
Thank you.